This short video is about curricular cycles with a focus on the four phases of a conceptual cycle, mainly looking at design. So let's move forwards and have a look. The learning objectives of this video is to summarize macro level program designs and the four phases of curricular cycles. Explore and describe key influences in the design of curriculum, and we're going to use medical education as one example, and to define the functions of learning aims, objectives and outcomes at a program or macro level when designing a program of learning. So what is a curriculum? Might help to pause the video at this point and have a think about what a curriculum means to you in terms of your medical education, for example. The GMC outlines that a curriculum is a set of documented learning aims, objectives and outcomes for a program of learning. And essentially what that does is provides a document that we can refer to that guides the processes that develop, implement, manage and evaluate learning. So it gives us, if you like, a book to follow when we deliver a curriculum. And a curriculum itself usually has phases, particularly if you're going to deliver it year upon year. If it's a one-off, it will still have phases. And if we focus on this photo, you will see there's sort of four clear phases. We're going to start at 9 o'clock with the design phase, then the develop phase, the implement phase, and the manage phase. So let's just focus firstly on a zooming out on a program and thinking about the design phase. So if you like, the initial phase of producing a curriculum. This is what a design phase does. In effect, the design phase is identifying a population who need to undergo a learning transformation. So if you think about a medical program, there may be some entrance requirements that we need people to meet to become a medical student and hopefully and eventually a doctor. Within that design phase, the designers of the curriculum need to think about all the sorts of resources for delivery as well. So money, funding, local trusts, the health needs of the population, and needs also to account for those key influences and key influencers of program design. And we're going to have a look at those in a moment. The design phase is about taking a zooming out or macro level or wide angled lens at looking at how you define and design a program that meets the learning needs of a population, both of service users and service providers. And within that, you would identify policies and procedures to support that curricular approach. So key influencers in UK medical education. Let's take a look. So obviously in the middle there, the Department of Health, we'll go back one. The Department of Health and Health Education England are very important to the delivery of our healthcare in this country, but also the education system that staffs and supports it. And in order for such a sort of large employer to function, we need a combination of top-down directives, so sort of rule makers and legislation and regulation, and bottom-up initiatives. So that comes from frontline experiences of service users, charitable organisations, students and clinicians. So top-down directives for the development of medical education and curricular design include organisations such as the General Medical Council, who regulate medical programmes in the UK, the Academy of Royal Colleges, Medical Schools Council, and the actual Higher Education Institute in which the medical education programme is situated. And then bottom-up initiatives include private and independent healthcare providers, service user groups who have a very powerful force and voice, of course, as being the users of frontline services, and then clinicians, students and charitable funds. And I'm sure you've all heard of the King's Fund, the Health Foundation, and might be very aware of the British Medical Association, and obviously are members of the Student Union. So to summarise, designing a curriculum is only one phase of a curricular cycle, and it involves consulting influencers, establishing the real life needs of a programme, both from its provision and its service use, to get a sense of the locality and the context and the resources available, to identify an approach to the curriculum that suits those needs, and to write programme level or macro level learning aims, objectives and outcomes, which we'll come to in a short while in this path of learning. So it's a fine interplay between top-down directives, bottom-up initiatives, in order to meet the overall need of an educational programme. So in our next video, we are going to look at the other three phases of curricular cycles.